Lijep pozdrav poštovani gledatelji, dobrodošli u još jednu emisiju na Večernji TV. Danas imamo izuzetnu čast predstaviti jednu od velikih britanskih pop zvijezdi posljednjeg desetljeća koji će nastupiti na predstojećem Sistar festivalu u Umagu. On je autor jednog od najvećih hitova zadnjih 10 godina na europskoj pop sceni, Love Me Again, gospodin John Newman. Hi John, how are you today?
I am very good, how are you?
Pretty well, pretty well. It's raining here in Zagreb. How's the weather at your place?
Yeah, I'm in London and it's just
Yeah,
the same.
of course. It's raining like always.
Yeah, I mean, we just had the Northern Lights. That was a pretty cool thing in the sky at night. We saw the green lights come across the sky. That was a crazy phenomenon, but amazing.
Yeah. So tell me, you're coming to Umag in 10 days. If I'm not mistaken, it's your second performance in Croatia, right? What do you think about our country? Have you perhaps already been here as a tourist?
Yeah, so my first, I think it was like my first or second gig was with a band that I collaborated with, my good friends called Rudimental, and we went out to Croatia and we had a festival there. So it was like one of my earliest memories of doing music professionally. So I've got fond memories of there and obviously like now as an electronic artist and as a musician, I like to party and have good energy and always feel like that happens in Croatia. So I'm really excited and I'm excited to bring that energy to stage. Yeah, it's going to be a big night and I'm super excited.
Yeah, we all know you as a pop star, but in Umag you perform as a hybrid act. What does your performance look like? What can we expect? What's all about?
So I went through, about 3 years ago, I decided to change my career. I think I didn't want to be a pop star that was sat on the shelf, and I was tired of people saying to me, where did you go? What did you do? Like, I wanted to reinvent myself and create something new. And I've always, I've done tracks with Calvin Harris, Alesso, David Guetta, and I think I've always been a part of the EDM scene and dance scene and wanted to be a part of it and thought that I could bring something positive to it. So yeah, I'm now managed by the Tomorrowland wider picture and it's an amazing thing. So in terms of what the show brings, I think I want something epic, something big, but also emotional. And I think when I'm talking about dance music and EDM and big fireworks and big energy, I think a lot of fans from the past would be like, oh no, we want the old John Newman, but I try and keep that in there and I try and make it for everybody. I just want more energy. So I DJ, I play big dance songs and I mix and I perform on instruments all in one. I'm stood there by myself. But I also sing songs like Love Me Again and Blame and Give Me Your Love. So that's really important to me to not stop doing that. I think that makes me different to the rest of the DJs and things like that. So
yeah, it was hard time for musicians in pandemic. You talk about your struggle with depression during pandemic. How important it is to talk about it? How did you deal with it?
I think in the world as people, we create busyness and we create distractions, I like to call it. And I think, especially as men, we're like run away constantly from our own thoughts or anything. We don't take time at one. And especially as a famous musician, you run around the world in denial of you or anything. So for me, when the pandemic hit, I found myself battling my own self and was like, I don't want to be this person anymore. Felt like everyone wanted me to make Love Me again, or be the soul singer again. And I was like, I don't want to be that person, and I don't even know myself. So I said that I was taking a pause in music. I didn't know how long it was going to be, but in my head, it could have been forever, to be honest. And it wasn't until I found dance music that I felt reinvigorated and excited to do something different. So I think people are like, we want you to go back to the old John Newman, but that's not an option for me. So it's either me doing this or I don't do music. That's the situation, but yeah.
Tell me about your beginnings. How did you discover your talent for music? Who were your role models back then?
So I've always been very creative as a whole, and still am now. I design my own clothes and artwork and videos and everything. I do everything. And another thing that I like to do is be creative with my hands and build things. And my granddad was an inventor, and my dad was a builder. So I felt like creation was always there, and it was whether I was building a go-kart as an 8-year-old or whatever I was doing, I was constantly creating. So my dad was also a musician, so that started coming in as well, and learnt that I could use that creativity in music very early, at like 9 years old. But my influences really were broad. They came from my mum listened to Northern soul music, which was basically, in simple terms, an English movement, which was based around the B-sides of Stax, Atlantic, and Motown. And then I'd be listening to like Ibiza and Tiesto and Paul van Dyk. So I was always trying to mix them together, and it took time, but I think Love Me Again was that mixture, and now I found a different way of mixing it. So yeah, really, really early I started doing music, and I've always kept that passion and drive apart from when I needed a break. But yeah, so you can understand if I was doing it from 8 years old and then it became successful and felt the pressure, after all that time, I did need some time away from it.
Yeah, I understand. So you talk about Love Me Again. Your first single became a worldwide hit. How did the song come about? Did you immediately feel like you had a hit?
Yes, is the answer. Completely yes. And still today, when I sat on my piano and I played it in front of my daughter and my wife yesterday, and I was like, that's crazy that's my song. I find that weird. It feels like it's become everyone else's song. And then I shared this personal moment with the song where I was like, wow, I created that. And that's what music is and was at that time. I think that's the most special thing about it, is that I've got songs in my pocket now that you might not hear for a year, and that's so exciting. And I think that Love Me Again was that. And I'd done this drum and bass song, and everyone was like, no, I'll do that again and again and again. I was like, no. And I remember I just had these like dance chord progression that I was just writing over one day, and I had the voice note, and it was like, I need to know now, will you keep loving me, or something like that. And then I took it in with my collaborator at the time, Steve Booker, and then it actually took 4 hours, I think, to write that song.
So how much did your life change when you became famous? How much pressure was that for you?
I think at the time I'd have said not much. I'm still the same person. But now on reflection, I think so much. I became an absolute animal, to be honest. And I think you should, though. I think you should. If you're gonna be a famous pop star, do it well.
Yeah.
Be cool, man. Like, be reckless, be fearless. And I think I was everything of that. And yeah, I think I had the best time, and it changed a lot. And then later became for a negative reason, because I wanted to be myself again. I felt like I'd missed my 20s. I felt like I hadn't matured. I'd just been living in this weird bubble. So yeah, it changed everything. I grew up in a very small house with not much income. Like, we really struggled when I was kids. So I think it's the money that changes everything the most.
Yeah, can I ask you, did you maybe watch this year's Eurosong? Have you heard the Croatian song Rim Tim Tagedim?
I haven't. I've been asked every time in every interview. I personally chose not to watch the Eurovision this year for political reasons that I didn't believe in. But I haven't. But I'm looking forward to. I've just done 4 interviews. Everybody's mentioned him. I'm excited to go and Google him and check him out.
Yeah. You'll meet him in Umag, right? But your brother James performed 3 years ago at Eurovision Song Contest, and he didn't have a single point. What did he say about it?
Sorry. To put it bluntly, yes, that is correct. Yeah. How do I feel about it?
Yeah.
Great sympathy, to be honest. I think it was such an exciting time for him, and I think he wrote a great song. He's written, as a songwriter, he's written some of the biggest songs in the world. He helped me write Blame. He's written Lay It On Me for Ed Sheeran and Rudimental. He's very successful. So I think, yeah, he's leaned back on that, and that's amazing. But I also understand that that's not a nice feeling to go through. So with great sympathy, I felt for him a lot. But also, he's an amazing songwriter. He's an amazing artist, and he's a really strong character. So amazing to see how he recovered from that, because it does take recovery when you go through something like that. And yeah, I'm super proud of who he is and his talents, and him as a person mainly. I'm super proud of. So that must have hurt. Yeah, I saw that it hurt, but also I'm really proud of what he achieved as well.
It's interesting fact that UK been doing poorly in the Eurovision past recent years. This year you had Ole Alexander, who is one of the biggest pop stars last years, but he didn't have a single point from a public audience. Why is that? Why has UK been doing poorly in Eurovision?
I don't know. I think it's a bigger story that I don't really want to get into. I believe there's multiple reasons. It's a song contest that's a reflection of politics often, and I think there's funding from different places at different times. I think that does come into respect, and then I just do believe that that's probably through the judges' votes, and then it comes into the general vote. And I do believe it's a niche market, and you've got to get the right song and the right thing. And look, the reality is that the UK has a very good time in music in general. We develop a lot of successful acts. So I think when it comes to a Eurovision Song Contest, I actually only think it's right that the other territories get their moment to shine throughout Europe as well. We get to do that on a daily basis, and I think it's an amazing thing for the other European acts to be able to do that on such a large scale. So yeah, I think it's just what it is, and it's okay. But yeah.
Tell me Tell me about yourself. What is John like in private? What are your hobbies?
Unexpected things. Yesterday I was driving a digger, digging up my garden.
Really? So you have a big garden.
I do, yeah, and it takes a lot of digging, and my neighbours are hating it. But there's a lot of levels to me. I like to be very humble, and if you met me in my natural environment, you probably wouldn't think that I do this job for a living. And I enjoy going to the pub and having drinks with friends and relaxing and giving time. I'm a father now and a husband, obviously, so giving a lot of time to that as well, and really enjoy doing that. But work takes a lot of my time, so I do struggle to find them moments a lot, because the reality is that my job takes 12 hours a day in the studio. So yeah,
of course. What is next for you in your career? Are you planning maybe a new album?
Yeah, I think it's a difficult word, saying an album in today's days, but I think it's important that artists keep making them, and we keep being artists almost, not TikTok viral sensations. I think we need to create the artistry and keep providing it. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to create my most proudest work yet. It's just about finding balance in between me now playing the likes of Tomorrowland and Perukaville and Exit Festival and Sea Star as a dance act, but then also respecting me as an emotionally releasing artist. So yeah, it's about finding that balance and creating something special. It's taking time, but hopefully the people believe in me that I will achieve this, and I know I will achieve it. It's just taking time to get it right, and don't want to feel rushed. And yeah, so I'm working on something. I think it's probably an album, which is, I've not told anyone yet, so that's big, and it feels like the biggest thing I've made so far. So yeah, that's where I'm at, but I'm it's not coming soon, and don't don't hold me to it. I think my managers are going to be quite angry that I said it's not coming soon because they think it might be coming soon, but I just need to make sure it's right, you know? I just want to make something I'm super, super proud of.
Yeah, of course. I bet you will be proud. John,
I hope so.
thank you so much for this interview. I wish you all the best and can't wait to see your performance in Umag in 10 days.
Thank you so much. Really respect speaking to you and I appreciate it as well. And lots of love. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, John.
Take care. Thank you guys. See you.
Bio je to John Newman, velika pop zvijezda koju uskoro gledamo u Umagu, dakle na Sistar 25. svibnja. Lijep pozdrav svima.